Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I wanted to do a video to thank everybody that followed along on the road trip that John and I took from Ocean City, Maryland to Oceanside, California. We arrived Monday night there in Oceanside, and it was, it was just fantastic. I mean, it was a great end to a really insane trip. We had such a blast on the adventure. It certainly went on longer than I think we both had thought initially. But really, it was fantastic. I mean, from start to finish, it was a challenge, but a very rewarding one. And the best part about it, really, truly, was sharing the experience with everybody else out there. I think a lot of people dream of taking some old car and driving it across the country, but very few people do it. Now, I've done a couple of long distance runs, but never one as long as this. And in an old Volkswagen, certainly the longest I've ever traveled. You know, last year I did the trip in the Mercedes, which you can see back over there from Alabama to California. And that was exciting enough. But to do an air-cooled Volkswagen from Maryland to California, well, that seemed to be kind of next level. And John was nutty enough to come along. In fact, I think he kind of pushed me into it. And in the end, it ended up turning out great. We had a fantastic time sharing the experience across the country, seeing the most amazing parts of American landscape, and meeting absolutely incredible people all the way across. There's something about travel in this country in a vintage car that brings out the best in people. Everybody seemed happy to see us. Everyone wanted to share their Volkswagen stories. When we had trouble, there were people there that were anxious and ready and willing to help. And all of that, I think, touched both of us greatly. In any case, I'm back home now. I've been taking a few days off to just kind of exhale and remind myself of who I am and what I do and why I'm here. And, here I am, back in the lab with Lucy, with the Mercedes, with all the other toys and cars and stuff that I have here. And I'm really, really excited that this Beetle is now a part of my life. So I'm going to give you a quick little walk around and a little bit of history of Lucy, the 64 Beetle. So Lucy is a 1964 Volkswagen Bug. Now, this is a European model car. As you can tell, it's got the small overriders rather than the towel rail bumpers. It's got the European-style headlights in it. The speedometer is in kilometers. There's a bunch of little details that differ from the European model to the U.S. models. So this Beetle was originally sold in Sweden in 1964. And one of the coolest things about it is that a lot of history has remained with the car its whole life. In fact, this piece of paper here was from the initial sale when it was sold in 1964. So check this out here. April 28th, 1964, it was sold to a gentleman by the name of Rune Engstrom. Now, Rune apparently kept the car up until about 2002 when it was purchased by a collector in Sweden by the name of Magnus Wixton. Now, Magnus and I knew each other through the vintage VW scene, and it had ended up being a car that he wanted to bring to the U.S. to try to market and sell. So he shipped this along with a couple of other cars to me at my shop in Brea, California, when we were located there, and it was sold through my website, oldbug.com. It went first to an owner in Texas. He had it for about 5 years. We advertised it for him at that point, and it sold to Maggie back in Maryland, roughly about 18 years ago. And obviously, I went to pick it up for Maggie, just a couple weeks ago. But getting it back here and getting reacquainted with this car, it's been really fun to look further into the history of it. So looking through the stuff that came with it, which I'm so pleased that Maggie and other previous owners kept, here's the original keys from the original selling dealer, Bill and Bus in Gavel, Sweden, I believe. And that I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But all of the paperwork and stuff here shows that the original owner was in that town. I've looked him up. I haven't been able to find him, but maybe there's somebody out there that can hunt down Rune or relatives of him. In any case, it's cool to see this paperwork. Here's some like service stamps. So when it had different service through 1967, 68, 69, 70, 71, up to 74, this particular page here, this shows the chassis number up here at the top. That matches the little aluminum tag here that's in the key ring. It's still the original engine in the car. Everything is as pure as can be. And I've always loved a car with good paperwork and good history like that. There's some other great stuff like battery warranty, different notes and things like that, different receipts for assorted things. This I found crumpled up in a corner underneath the front. This is what looks like maybe lottery ticket stuff or something. I don't really even know what that is, but it's worth saving. And in any case, some neat little things in regards to its history here while it was still in Sweden. And then once it came to the US and found a home with Maggie, well, she was the perfect owner to have it because she was somebody that jotted down every bit of service that she did to the car during her ownership. So she bought it in 2007. It talks about when it arrived from Texas via flatbed, what the mileage was. She put a new battery in it, 4 new tires in 2007, entered in a car show. Anytime there was a little issue with it, she took care of it. And that was super, super fun to see. And it certainly helps me as the next caretaker to know what's been done and what might still need to be done. So different things, problem again with the car not starting, oil changes, all sorts of stuff there. Replaced master cylinder in 2011, and always keeping track of the kilometers on the odometer and the conversion to miles. So thumbing through this here to get towards the end, let's see, 23. She drove it, obviously, and had a lot of fun with the car. So here we go. Earlier this year, 135,000 kilometers on it. So about 84,000 miles, oil change, fuel filters, courtesy inspection. And flash forward to a couple weeks ago and my arrival at her place in Maryland to pick the car up and take it on probably the biggest adventure this car has ever possibly taken. So we drove about 3,600 miles. I think it was more like 3,656 miles or something total from Maryland, from Ocean City to Oceanside. And the car really ran spectacular. Yes, the fuel pump went out at one point. I looked in the book here. It had been replaced about 7 years ago. That sort of thing. It was magic. But upon arrival here, it was super fun to just spend some time with the car and learning about it. And a lot of people have asked about it. There was one gentleman that saw the license plate in one of the videos, and he actually showed up in Oceanside at the end to talk with me about it. He was a Swedish gentleman. He recognized the plate. He wanted to see the car and see something that came from his homeland. But in any case, the car is really in spectacular original condition. As you can see underneath the hood, it still has the original wiring cover and trunk liner in there. If you look real close on the tire, I don't know if you can see it here. This is actually a Swedish Goodyear tire that is on the spare. It's got the original little paint sticker in there. You can see that there. Panama beige is the color. And the original jack is there. The toolkit, that was a saving grace on our trip. It's really a well-preserved car. The roof rack is an original Swedish roof rack. The Albert Swan neck mirrors, it had a set of those on it when it came over from from Sweden. And these are actually a pair of reproductions that Maggie purchased for me after the originals got real badly pitted. But these were some mirrors that I had made for a short bit. The little things that have been changed, the interior was changed at one point because the original factory cloth had kind of given up the ghost. It wasn't known to hold up real well for all that long, so it was about time. And Maggie had a local upholstery shop do a really, really nice job of covering these things in a tweed material. And while it's held up quite well and it looks pretty good, it's not original to the car, so I'm probably going to change that back to that original striped European cloth because I found a source for that. But it's still original headliner, original paint on the dash, original carpet and door panels. Everything is straight up stock original as it was. Now, there's a couple things I've done to it already while having it here. One is I changed the running boards. It had black running boards on it that had a much thinner trim that was not correct for the year. These reproductions are made by Wolfsburg West and in the color match tan. They really look awesome on there, and they have the nice fat trim that should be there. So I bolted on a pair of those. I did repaint the roof rack back to a silver framework. It had been painted kind of an ivory color, and while it looked really nice, I wanted to make it look even a little more original, so I just went back to a good silver finish. The wood had already been redone by Maggie's husband, and it looks fantastic, so I just put that back on there. And everything else I've done to it is just detailing. Now you can see it's got some little chips and scratches. I think this little ding might have happened on our road trip, a little battle scar from 3,600 miles across the U.S. I might have a paintless dent removal guy try to work that out a little bit and maybe touch that up. I don't know. But if that's the worst that happened to it during its trip, I feel like it was definitely covered with an aura of protection to get us here and in this shape. Now, the car is, being a European model, it has been exposed to some rust and stuff. However, over in Europe, they tend to undercoat these things and treat these things with rust prohibitive stuff that really does an amazing job. So there's spots you can see in the door jambs and stuff where they sprayed stuff to interstructure steel to help keep it from rusting. When I pulled the running board bolts out to put the new running boards on, they all came out super easy. I mean, it was really amazing. But there are a couple spots, like at the edges of the fenders where that meets the body. Like there's one spot right here you can see where it's gotten a little rusty in through there. And I think there was another spot on the back as well. But that's a part of its history, and it's a part of its story. And it's something that I'm definitely not going to repair. It's just something that I need to watch and keep a hold of. So this is a keeper car for me, without a doubt. I mean, the way that this car came to me, the gift of it coming to me is just absolutely mind-blowing. Plus, now the road trip, 3,600 miles across this amazing country of ours, and all the history and all the fun that came with it. I mean, this thing is my forever bug. It's a car that I first fell in love with 23 years ago, and now it's here in my garage. It's carried me 3,600 miles across the country. I've shared it with thousands of people around the world. Maggie is so excited that it's here in a home that is going to take care of it and cherish it and enjoy it. And I couldn't be any more excited for that to be the case. In any case, that's a quick walk around, well, maybe not so quick walk around, of Lucy, a bit of her history, and some of the details that make this bug special. So please watch for me at upcoming events and stuff. This is a car I plan to take out and enjoy. This will forever be my Beetle, and I am just really, really excited to have it. So welcome to the lab here, Lucy. You are indeed a star. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep on digging them up and driving them. Bye-bye.